There comes a moment in every life when the outer world becomes too loud, too demanding, too confusing, and something deep within you begins to stir. It is not fear, it is not doubt, it is the voice of God within you, calling you back to your true power. This inner voice is not distant, not hidden, not reserved for saints or sages. It is the eternal intelligence breathing through your mind, the divine spark shaping every thought, every intuition, every inspired vision. You are not here to be dominated by circumstances, by old patterns, or by the echoes of yesterday's failures. You are here to master your inner reality. For the world you see outside is nothing but a projection of the world you carry inside. Joseph Murphy taught that the subconscious mind is the workshop of creation, and everything impressed upon it with feeling becomes form, becomes experience, becomes destiny. When you listen to the voice of God within, you stop living by reaction and you begin living by spiritual direction. You rise above confusion and step into clarity. You transcend limitation and step into possibility. You shift from fear to faith, from doubt to divine certainty, from wandering in darkness to walking in the radiant light of higher consciousness. This is not philosophy, it is the law of mind, the principle by which all great lives are transformed. The power that created galaxies is the same power shaping your inner speech right now. And when you align that inner speech with the divine, your life reorganizes itself in miraculous ways. Today, you will learn to awaken this power, to tune your consciousness to the sacred frequency within you, and to command your destiny by commanding your inner world. For the moment you master your inner reality, the outer world must bow to the authority of the divine truth you hold within. The voice of God within you is not a distant mystical idea, it is the most intimate and powerful reality of your life. It speaks in the quiet impulses that guide you toward truth, in the sudden flashes of insight that lift you out of confusion, and in the deep inner knowing that appears when you silence the noise of fear. This divine voice does not shout, it gently nudges you toward your highest good. When you learn to trust it, your entire world begins to shift because you are no longer reacting to circumstances. You are responding to divine direction. Joseph Murphy taught that this inner voice is the movement of infinite intelligence within your subconscious mind, shaping your thoughts, guiding your path, and revealing solutions long before your conscious mind recognizes them. To hear this voice clearly, you must create inner stillness. The world around you constantly competes for your attention, filling your mind with doubt, worry, and limitation. But beneath all of that lies a calm, sacred presence that has never stopped speaking. As you quiet your internal chatter and become receptive, you begin to sense a profound clarity emerging from within. Ideas come with ease, decisions feel guided, and life begins to unfold with a grace that feels almost supernatural. This is because you are no longer operating from personal will alone. You are aligning with the divine wisdom that has always been with you. Every time you choose faith over fear, intuition over hesitation, and inner calm over outer chaos, you amplify this voice. You awaken a new level of consciousness in which you realize you are never alone, never lost, never without direction. The voice of God is the compass of your soul, pointing you toward growth, healing, abundance, and fulfillment. When you listen to it consistently, your life becomes a reflection of divine order, and you begin to walk with a confidence that comes only from knowing that the infinite is guiding your every step. Mastering your inner reality begins with recognizing that every experience in your outer world is shaped, colored, and influenced by the thoughts you consistently hold within. Your mind is not a passive receiver of events, it is the creative engine behind them. Joseph Murphy emphasized that the subconscious accepts whatever you impress upon it, whether positive or negative, and it tirelessly works to manifest those impressions into your daily life. When you allow fear, worry, and doubt to dominate your inner dialogue, you unknowingly build a reality that reflects those very emotions. But the moment you shift your inner pattern, your beliefs, your self-talk, your expectations. You begin to redesign the entire structure of your life from the inside out. Mastering your inner world does not mean resisting or suppressing unwanted thoughts. Instead, it means becoming aware of them and replacing them with ideas that align with the life you desire. When you intentionally choose thoughts of faith, confidence, abundance, and harmony, your subconscious mind responds by opening doors, attracting solutions, and guiding you toward favorable outcomes. This inner mastery gives you the power to remain steady even when outer situations appear uncertain. You no longer fall victim to circumstances. You influence them through the quality of your consciousness. As you refine your inner state, your perception expands. You begin to see opportunities where you once saw obstacles. You find strength where you once felt weakness. You realize that nothing outside you holds true power unless you permit it. This awareness creates a profound inner freedom. You become the architect of your destiny rather than a passive observer of life. Mastering your inner reality is not a one-time event, but a daily practice of choosing the thoughts that honor your divine nature. And as you remain loyal to this inner discipline, your outer world transforms, reflecting the peace, clarity, and power you have cultivated within. When you listen to the voice of God within, you shift from reacting to the world around you to being guided by a higher, clearer, and more intelligent source. This inner guidance elevates you above confusion because it does not come from fear or past conditioning. It comes from divine wisdom. Most people move through life responding to circumstances, influenced by outer noise, shaped by opinions, and tossed around by emotions. But when you turn inward and attune yourself to the divine presence within, you begin to operate from certainty instead of doubt. You feel directed rather than scattered. You act from purpose rather than pressure. This shift creates an inner stability that nothing external can shake. As you cultivate this connection, decisions become easier because they are no longer rooted in anxiety. They arise from inner clarity. Situations that once overwhelmed you lose their power because you recognize that guidance is always available. You stop chasing answers outside yourself and begin receiving them from within. This divine inner voice leads you toward harmony, growth, and right action. It never contradicts peace, never creates confusion, and never pushes you toward fear. Instead, it speaks through intuition, through sudden knowing, through gentle impulses that feel natural and truthful. Joseph Murphy often taught that his divine impressions are the universe's way of directing you toward the highest expression of your life. As you follow this guidance consistently, you rise above the limitations of old beliefs and outdated thinking. You step into a new level of consciousness where life begins to unfold more smoothly and purposefully. You move with confidence because you know your steps are guided by infinite intelligence. Challenges become easier to navigate because you are no longer navigating them alone. You are aligned with a wisdom far greater than the human mind. Listening to the voice of God within lifts your entire being, transforming not only how you think but how you live, how you choose, and ultimately who you become. Fear dissolves the moment you recognize that a higher power is working through you, guiding you, strengthening you, and preparing the path ahead. When you align your consciousness with the divine presence within, you no longer see life through the lens of limitation. Instead, you see from the perspective of infinite possibility. Doubt loses its authority because you realize it was only a product of past conditioning, never the voice of truth. Joseph Murphy taught that when you saturate your mind with divine certainty, your subconscious becomes a powerful channel through which the infinite expresses harmony, clarity, and success. This alignment shifts your entire relationship with life. You move from asking, "What if things go wrong?" to confidently believing, "Everything is unfolding in my favor." As you deepen this inner alignment, your actions become infused with purpose rather than fear. Sudden clarity replaces hesitation. Inner calm replaces frantic effort. You begin to understand that true strength is not force but spiritual alignment. It is the quiet, unwavering awareness that God's wisdom flows through you and that every step you take is supported by a higher intelligence. This awareness dissolves the old patterns of self-doubt and creates a new identity rooted in spiritual confidence. You no longer depend on outer reassurance because the reassurance you receive from within is far greater and far more reliable. When you embrace divine certainty, resistance fades. You stop struggling against life and begin flowing with it. Doors open not because you chase them, but because your consciousness is aligned with the power that opens them. You attract opportunities, solutions, and connections that reflect your elevated inner state. Challenges no longer intimidate you because you meet them with the knowing that you are guided, equipped, and sustained by the infinite. Living from divine certainty transforms your thoughts, your actions, and your outcomes. It anchors you in a state of peace and clarity where success feels natural, guidance feels continuous, and life becomes a harmonious expression of the power working within you. Faith becomes a living force the moment you choose to trust the divine power within rather than the circumstances before you. This kind of faith is not blind hope or wishful thinking. It is a deep inner conviction that the universe is working with you, through you, and for you. When you cultivate this inner trust, your mind shifts from anxiety to assurance. You begin to understand that every challenge contains hidden guidance, every delay contains hidden timing, and every difficulty carries within it the seed of greater strength. Faith, hope. NS the doorway for divine intelligence to operate freely in your life, unblocking the channels that fear once closed. Joseph Murphy emphasized that faith is the substance that impresses your desires upon the subconscious mind, enabling them to manifest with ease, grace, and perfect order. As you strengthen this inner faith, you realize that you no longer need to control everything around you. Instead, you learn to align your thoughts with the reality you seek, trusting that the unseen is always working on your behalf. This shift frees you from struggle. You stop fighting against circumstances and begin cooperating with the deeper rhythm of life. Solutions arrive in forms you didn't expect, ideas come at the right moment, and people appear just when you need them. Faith creates an inner expectancy of good, and this expectancy becomes a magnetic force drawing favorable conditions into your experience. Life begins to unfold with a sense of divine timing. You notice subtle signs, feel intuitive nudges, and experience synchronicities that confirm you are on the right path. Even in moments of uncertainty, a quiet peace remains within you because you know the infinite never abandons its creation. Faith gives you the courage to move forward even when the path is not fully visible. It strengthens your inner resilience and reminds you that the power sustaining the universe is the same power sustaining you. With this realization, fear loses its influence, doubts dissolve, and a profound confidence takes root, a confidence born from the unshakable truth that God is guiding every step of your journey. The moment you realize that nothing outside you has the power to define your worth, limit your potential, or determine your destiny, you step into true spiritual freedom. This freedom is not rebellion against life, it is alignment with the divine truth within you. Joseph Murphy taught that every human being carries the spark of infinite intelligence, a creative power capable of transforming any situation, healing any wound, and elevating any life. When you awaken to this truth, old patterns of insecurity, comparison, and self-doubt begin to fall away. You stop seeking validation from the world because you finally recognize that the true source of your power lives within your own consciousness. As this awareness deepens, your inner dialogue changes. Instead of repeating the limitations you once believed, you begin affirming your divine nature. You speak to yourself with clarity, strength, and certainty. You acknowledge your inherent ability to create, to overcome, and to rise. This shift in inner identity becomes the foundation for a new outer reality. You no longer shrink yourself to fit the expectations of others. You no longer measure your value through external achievements. Instead, You move through the world from a place of inner completeness, knowing that your